Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Guess what, everyone? For a lot of us, summer is finally here. And what goes great with the hot weather? Frozen kefir from Lifeway. Lifeway's frozen kefir is a creamy, delicious dessert packed with 10 live and active probiotic cultures. It's also high in protein and calcium, and it's made from all natural ingredients. They come in the delicious flavors of mango, pomegranate, strawberry, and original. And they're 99% lactose-free and gluten-free. You can check them out at lifewaykefir.com/courtjunkie and get a coupon while you're there. That's Lifeway, KEFIR.com/courtjunkie. Hi, everyone. This is Jillian, and you are listening to episode 27 of the Court Junkie podcast. Today's case is a twisted one about an alleged murder plot with a horrific ending. But before we get started, just a quick thank you for listening, subscribing, sharing with your friends, leaving reviews, and really just engaging with this podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love interacting with you guys. This past week in our Facebook discussion group, some of the hot topics included home invasions and the homeowner's legal right to use force, the latest Netflix documentaries, and the implications of tracking your loved ones with technology for safety reasons. You can join the closed group by going to courtjunkie.com/Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at courtjunkiepod, on Instagram at courtjunkie, or you can email me at podcast@courtjunkie.com. Today's case was a recommendation from Becca, a fellow court junkie who requested that I cover it. And if you have any recommendations of cases that you'd like to hear, please feel free to email me. And now, on to today's show. It was in the early morning hours of November 16th, 2012. From the outside, the charming, light green single-family home on Chagrin Drive in Willoughby Hills, Ohio, looked quiet, even serene in the still of the night. To the front of the home is a landscaped yard, leading to a quiet, dead-end road. In the back of the home sits on the scenic Chagrin River. Inside the house, just as you'd expect at this time of the night, was a sleeping family. 41-year-old Lisa Knoefel, her 18-year-old foster daughter, Sabrina Zunick, her 13-year-old daughter, whom we'll call Hannah, and her 3-year-old daughter, we'll call Jessie. Lisa's husband, Kevin, who was a truck driver, was out of town that night, so Lisa and the girls were in the home, sleeping by themselves. Only 18-year-old Sabrina wasn't sleeping. She quietly crept into Lisa's bedroom and began attacking her. At 1:16 a.m., a 911 call came in to the Willoughby Hills Police Department. The caller was 13-year-old Hannah, and she was hysterical. She frantically told the dispatchers that her sister was attacking her mother with a knife.
1518 Chagrin Drive. I have a female yelling on the phone. Someone else has a knife. 1518 Chagrin Drive for a female stabbed with Willoughby Hills fire. Clear at 118. All I got was the sister has a knife.
When police arrived, Hannah ran outside and met them in the driveway, pleading with them to hurry, saying that her sister was stabbing her mother to death. When they entered the home, they yelled for whoever was in the first-floor bedroom to come out with their hands up. Sabrina Zunick emerged from the bedroom and stood in the hallway, her hands raised high in the air. In her right hand was a large knife, approximately 10 inches long, dripping with blood. She was also completely covered in blood from head to toe. Sabrina dropped the knife and got down on the ground, obediently following the officer's orders. She didn't say a word, but she was sobbing hysterically. One of the officers kicked the knife down the hallway, away from Sabrina, and went into the bedroom, where he made a horrific discovery. 41-year-old Lisa Knoefel was lying on the floor, motionless. There were signs of a deadly struggle. In addition to the blood everywhere, lamps had been knocked over, and there was a small child, 3-year-old Jessie, hiding in a closet, crying. Lisa was pronounced dead at the scene. Sabrina was detained, and while officers were walking her to the patrol car, they noticed that she had cuts through her pants on her legs, and she was bleeding. She was taken to Lake West Hospital. Sabrina had been living with the Knoefels for a year and a half. She was reportedly in foster care because her father, who had recently passed away, had been too sick to take care of her, and her biological mother had also suffered from serious health issues. She had lived with her grandmother for a time, but was caught stealing money from her, and the courts determined that her grandmother could no longer care for her. So in 2011, Sabrina had gone to live with the Knoefels. Lisa and Kevin Knoefel had been married for 6 years. Lisa was a social worker at the Cuyahoga County Division of Family Services in the Sex Crimes Unit, and Kevin was a truck driver for Gordon Food Services. Both Kevin and Lisa had been married before, and both had children from their prior marriages. Kevin had an older son, and Lisa had 13-year-old Hannah with her ex-husband. Kevin and Lisa had a daughter of their own, 3-year-old Jessie. In recent family photographs, Kevin, Lisa, and their children, including their foster daughter Sabrina, gave the appearance of a happy little family. So what exactly happened that night of November 16, 2012? A few days later, on November 19th, Sabrina appeared in court. She was wearing a blue prison jumpsuit and was handcuffed and shackled. Her biological family, along with the Knoefel family, were in the courtroom. She broke down into tears as the charges against her were read out loud. She was ordered held at the Lake County Jail on $750,000 bond. The next day, on November 20th, Lisa Knoefel was laid to rest in a closed casket funeral attended by her family and friends. And at the funeral, Kevin Knoefel asked people to also pray for Sabrina, their foster daughter, who had just been accused of murdering Lisa. And right about here is when I typically tell you that Sabrina's trial has started and we go through all the evidence against her. But there's more than that to this story. Although Hannah had witnessed Sabrina stabbing her mother, there was one huge question mark circling this case: the motive. Why would Sabrina have wanted to kill her foster mother? As it turns out, Sabrina may not have acted alone, because someone else was also about to be charged in Lisa's murder. 9 months later, in August 2013, the Lake County Grand Jury filed an 11-count secret indictment against Kevin Knoefel. He was arrested and taken into custody by the Willoughby Hills police, alongside the U.S. Marshals. Kevin was charged with conspiring with Sabrina to kill his wife. And not only that, but prosecutors alleged that he was having an affair with Sabrina and had been since March 1st, 2012, when Sabrina was 17. And who was the state's star witness? Sabrina herself. In his first hearing, prosecutors laid out the charges against him.
We're here on case number 13 CR 558, the state of Ohio versus Kevin D. Knoefel. Defendant would advise the court that the defendant was entrusted with the care of a foster child and abused that trust by engaging in an illicit sexual relationship with that foster child. He conspired and acted in complicity with his foster child to murder his wife. A weapon was used during the murder of Lisa Knoefel, and that was a knife. And the nature and circumstances of the crime, that this defendant engaged in discussions with Sabrina Zunich and devised multiple plans to murder Lisa M. Knoefel in her bedroom while she was asleep. This defendant told Sabrina Zunich that Lisa M. Knoefel was worth more dead than alive. Kevin D. Knoefel and Sabrina Zunich agreed that Sabrina Zunich would kill Lisa Knoefel by stabbing her to death. The defendant directed Sabrina Zunich as to a specific knife to use to stab Lisa Knoefel. The defendant demonstrated how Sabrina Zunich should stab Lisa Knoefel and how to twist the knife into Lisa Knoefel's body. The defendant gave Sabrina Zunich specific instructions to stab Lisa Knoefel either in between Lisa's shoulder blades or in her neck area. This defendant discussed that Sabrina Zunich make the death of Lisa Knoefel look like a burglary. Specifically, it was planned that Sabrina Zunich would rummage through jewelry and leave a door partially open. The defendant instructed Sabrina Zunich to cut her own legs to make it look like Sabrina Zunich acted in self-defense. This defendant and Sabrina Zunich agreed that if Sabrina Zunich was apprehended by the police, Sabrina Zunich would say she did not remember what happened and would claim insanity. Sabrina Zunich's plan stabbed Lisa Knoefel to death.
Prosecutors alleged that Kevin had not just conspired with Sabrina, but that he had instructed her on how to kill Lisa by stabbing her in between her shoulder blades or in her neck and twisting the knife to do the most damage, and then instructing her to make it look like a burglary. They said the planning started 3 months prior to Lisa's murder, in August 2012, and that, specifically, it was planned that Sabrina Zunich would rummage through jewelry and leave a door partially open. The plan was also for Sabrina to cut herself on her legs, to make it look as though she had acted in self-defense. And if Sabrina was caught in the act, she would say she didn't remember what happened, or claim that she was insane. Kevin's bond was set at $3 million. And as he sat in jail, awaiting trial for conspiracy to commit murder, he was also facing a wrongful death lawsuit from Lisa's ex-husband and father of 13-year-old Hannah. The lawsuit stated that Lisa Knoefel carried one or more life insurance policies upon which Kevin was the beneficiary and for which he received proceeds upon her death. Kevin's trial began on May 29, 2014. He was facing 2 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder and 3 counts of complicity to commit aggravated murder. He was also charged with 6 counts of sexual battery for allegedly having a sexual relationship with Sabrina. If you listened to my last episode, then you know that the age of consent in Ohio is 16. But just like in the last episode, Kevin was in a position of authority. He was Sabrina's foster father, therefore making the relationship with a 17-year-old Sabrina illegal, and also gross, but that's just my point of view. The prosecution team consisted of Karen Cowell, John P. O'Donnell, Lisa Naroda, and Jamie Eck. The defense attorneys were Michael J. Connick, Dennis Locanti, and Gary Vick Jr. Judge Joe Gibson was hearing the case. On the first day of the trial, even before opening statements began, the jury went on a field trip. They boarded a bus and went to the Knoefel home in Willoughby Hills, as well as to Sabrina's high school, Willoughby South High School. When the jury got back, the prosecution started with their opening statements. Prosecutor O'Donnell told the jury that there's no question that Sabrina Zunick is the one who stabbed Lisa Knoefel to death. He said that Lisa was a good person, had a good heart. Kevin drove a truck for Gordon Food Services and was also working part-time as a school bus driver. He began a sexual relationship with Sabrina after asking her to massage his legs and then his genitals. Sabrina, O'Donnell said, wanted to be a massage therapist. She was 17 at the time, and Kevin was 41. O'Donnell conceded that Kevin and Lisa didn't have a particularly good marriage, but said that Kevin was afraid that if there was a divorce, he would lose custody of their 3-year-old daughter, Jessie. He told the jury that Kevin and Sabrina plotted Lisa's death together, including how Sabrina would do it, saying, "Once you plunge the knife, twist it to cause more internal damage." He said Lisa fought for her life, but that she didn't win. O'Donnell also brought up Kevin's actions afterwards, telling the court that they would find his reactions to his wife's unexpected brutal murder completely incomprehensible. He added that Kevin inherited $785,000 from his wife's life insurance. In his opening statements, defense attorney Michael Connick said that they do know who killed Lisa, Sabrina Zunick, and Sabrina Zunick alone. He said Sabrina has bipolar disorder and has had mental health issues since she was 6 years old. He told the court that Sabrina's parents were both drug addicts and that no one else in her family could handle her. As a result, she was placed as a foster child into the Knoefels' home. He said Sabrina was about to be kicked out of the home by Kevin and Lisa, and that she viewed herself as Hannah and Jessie's mom. He told the jury, "The only person who connects Kevin Knoefel to the murder of Lisa Knoefel is Sabrina Zunick." Connick also denied that Kevin had a sexual relationship with Sabrina, saying that that wasn't true either. He said that Sabrina was interrogated almost immediately after the murder and that she doesn't remember anything because she blacked out. He told the court that Sabrina has an agreement with the state to testify against Kevin. It's a deal that will result in her getting just 30 years to life in prison. If she refuses to testify, the state will recommend a life sentence with no possibility for parole. Connick then offered up another motive, saying that Sabrina wanted to get revenge on Lisa because she was afraid that Lisa would take 3-year-old Jessie from her, and that Sabrina viewed Jessie as her own. Ken Melvin, a special education teacher at Sabrina's high school, took the stand. He was Sabrina's instructor in the fall of 2012. He had her for social studies and science classes and described Sabrina as a B student with no behavioral issues. On November 14, 2012, just 2 days prior to Lisa's murder, Ken said he looked out of his classroom window and saw Kevin and Sabrina standing outside talking to each other. He said it was unusual for a parent to meet up with a student like that during the day. Later, he said Kevin approached Sabrina inside the building to speak with her, and Ken said he told Kevin that he would have to sign in at the school office, which Kevin did. He didn't think about it again until after Lisa's murder. Police dispatcher Ashley Onion was called to the stand. She recalled receiving a 911 call at about 1:15 a.m. on November 16th. The call was played in court, and you can hear a female voice screaming and crying, repeatedly telling the dispatcher that her sister has a knife and that she stabbed her mom. Ashley was visibly getting upset as the call was played for the jury. She testified that later that night she got a call from Kevin, inquiring about his girls. She told him that they could be picked up from the police department, and so at about 5 a.m., he arrived to pick them up. Officer Randolph Mullinax, an officer with the Willoughby Hills Police Department, testified next. He was the responding officer who got a call from dispatch at about 1:17 a.m. about an assault in progress. He recalled how he apprehended Sabrina and discovered Lisa's body in the bedroom, and 3-year-old Jesse hiding in the closet. He said the murder weapon was a serrated knife that had a 9-inch blade, which prosecutor Naroda then introduced to the court. She also showed Officer Mulinak's crime scene photos and had him describe to the jury what they were seeing. A lamp had been knocked over, and there was blood all over the wall. When he got back to the police station, Mulinak said that he and another officer went to speak with Kevin Knoefel, who was waiting there in the lobby. He said Kevin was relatively calm, but teary-eyed at times, and that he gave the officers a strange preface, saying that he had been an EMT before and that he had seen stuff like this numerous times. Kevin told them that they weren't going to tell him anything he hadn't seen before, and so he wanted to know every detail about what happened. Mulinak said he found that to be a little strange. Another officer who had responded to the home that night took the stand. He testified that he helped Sabrina get into the patrol car. He said she was wearing sweatpants that had a cut on the right thigh. Steve Luchik, a Willoughby Hills firefighter paramedic, testified that there was a lot of smeared blood on the bedroom floor and that 3 medics were performing life support on Lisa, but that she flatlined. He said she had stab wounds to her eye, her pinky finger was cut off, and there were wounds on her face and chest. Tom Smith, another firefighter paramedic, treated Sabrina the night of the murder. He said Sabrina had various minor lacerations on her hands, the back of her neck, and on her legs above the knees. She was hyperventilating when he first saw her, and he said she ignored most of his questions. He said she was exhausted and kept dozing off. Her clothing was covered in blood. Dr. Joseph Philo, a forensic pathologist from the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office, supervised Lisa's autopsy and testified that she had at least 178 stab wounds. He said there was a lot of trauma to her body, especially in the area of her head, neck, torso, and upper arms. Several of the cuts were complex, meaning that either the knife was twisting and/or the victim was twisting. There were numerous defensive wounds on both of her hands and legs. He noted that there were 2 quick fatal wounds, one that severed the carotid artery leading to her brain, and the other in her chest that penetrated to and collapsed the lung underneath. He told the court that this was the most number of stab wounds that he had ever seen in his almost 17 years of pathology. Erica Gator took the stand next. She was Lisa's boss and had been for about 6 years. She said that Lisa was a social worker who monitored families and visited kids. In the weeks before the murder, Erica thought Lisa seemed jumpy and had lost some of her focus. After she heard about Lisa's murder, she said she was devastated and shocked, calling it the worst day ever. The day after the murder, Erica went to Kevin's mother's house with food. She said Kevin was there, and he appeared normal, which surprised her. She said, "I assumed he would appear sorrowful or upset, some type of emotion to Lisa being murdered." She said she noticed that there was a picture of Sabrina on the refrigerator. At Lisa's funeral, Erica said Kevin was emotionless, and she was appalled by some of the inappropriate comments he made. Defense attorney Connick objected, and Erica wasn't allowed to say what those inappropriate comments were. Lisa's best friend, Kayleen Lessman, took the stand. She said she and Lisa had been friends since 2005, and she was Lisa's maid of honor at her wedding. The 2 friends had also worked together. Kayleen told the jury that she and Lisa would often have lunch together at work, but in 2012, the lunches became more sporadic. In the fall of 2012, Kayleen noticed that Lisa would step away from her desk anytime she got phone calls on her cell phone, and after the calls, she would sometimes seem frazzled. The next day, she too went to Kevin's mother's house, Everyone was bringing food over and talking. Kevin asked her about pension funds and remarked that Lisa's salary of $50,000 is a lot to make up. She said she was surprised and stunned that he would even bring that up. The next few witnesses testified about Kevin's inquiries about Lisa's life insurance policies. It turns out Kevin made a lot of phone calls just hours after Lisa's murder. Pam Brown, another social worker who worked with Lisa and who was the union branch president, testified that she received a call from Kevin hours after Lisa was killed. Kevin inquired about what kind of paperwork he needed to make a claim on Lisa's life insurance policy with the union. She said the value of the policy was either $30,000 or $35,000. Jill Reynolds, the benefits specialist with Gordon Food Services, where Kevin worked, said she also got a phone call from Kevin just hours after Lisa's murder. He told her that his wife had died and that he wanted to file an insurance claim. She asked him what the cause of death was for coverage purposes, and he said he didn't know. She sent Kevin the necessary paperwork, and it was returned that following week. Jill told the court that Kevin ended up receiving 3 checks from them: a $70,000 check from Hartford Insurance for accidental death, another check for just over $63,000, and a third check to the funeral home for just over $6,000. A senior claims examiner with American General Life testified that he too got a call from Kevin hours after the murder. Kevin reported a claim on a $250,000 life insurance policy insuring Lisa Knoefel. The policy had been issued on May 16, 2012, and was paid to Kevin on his claim. A team leader for Guardian Life Insurance Company testified that they issued a check to Kevin for the policy on Lisa's job in the amount of over $249,000. On cross-examination, the defense noted that this particular policy was almost 13 years old, and there was no evidence that Kevin even knew about it. A supervisor of benefits for OPERS, the largest public pension fund in Ohio, told the jury that due to Lisa's membership in OPERS, Kevin was entitled to a little over $1,000 a month. But pending the lawsuit against Kevin from Lisa's ex-husband, the benefits were suspended. Ryan Dodge from Farmers Insurance took the stand next and told the court that Kevin also called them the day Lisa died, at 1 p.m. on November 16, 2012. He said Kevin requested that Ryan drive over to his house to expedite the process, so Ryan drove over to Kevin's house that afternoon. Kevin's sister told him that Kevin was too distraught to come outside. He said the value of that policy was $150,000. Frank Zingvall, also from Farmers Insurance, said that Kevin changed his insurance from renters to homeowners insurance and that he installed a swimming pool in the months after Lisa's death. He said Kevin added automobile insurance for a brand new 2013 Chevy Cruze, a 2011 Malibu, and 2 campers after Lisa's murder. All in all, Kevin collected more than $785,000 after Lisa's death. Jamie Onion, a police officer with the Willoughby Hills Police Department, testified that on September 15, 2012, 2 months before the murder, he responded to a domestic call at Kevin and Lisa's home. When he arrived, Lisa was gone, but Kevin was there. Kevin told him that he and Lisa had had an argument about Lisa's daughter, Hannah. Kevin said that he had grabbed Hannah by the back of the neck and walked her into her room, but that Lisa was accusing him of choking her. Kevin said that even though the situation had already died down, he wanted to document it because it could lead to divorce and affect his custody of Jessie, his 3-year-old daughter, with Lisa. Detective Brian Jackson took the stand and said that he had met Kevin at his home on November 17th, the day after Lisa's murder. Kevin wanted to go back into the house and he wanted the police there to make sure that there was no media waiting for him. Detective Jackson said that he tried to discourage Kevin from entering the home because even though it had been released, it had not yet been cleaned up, and Jackson didn't think that he would want to see that. But Kevin displayed no emotion and said that he wanted to see it for himself. Nicole Corbett, a social worker for the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services, testified that she was Sabrina's ongoing social worker. Sabrina was a resident at the Cayley home, a residential center that houses up to 16 kids, for about a year until she was placed with the Knoefels in July 2011. In October 2012, Nicole received a call from Kevin, who told her that he and Lisa were considering getting a divorce, and he asked if Sabrina could stay with him if they did. She told him that it was a possibility. She told the court that she had no concerns about Sabrina. She was doing well in school, going to counseling, and passing her drug tests. The Knoefels made sure that Sabrina followed the rules. Sabrina told her that she wanted to remain in the custody of Lake Job and Family Services after her 18th birthday, which was at the end of October in 2012, so that she could continue staying with the Knoefels. Kevin had agreed to let her stay. Prior to being with the Knoefels, Nicole said that Sabrina had behavioral issues. While staying with her biological grandmother, Sabrina was stealing money from her and getting into trouble. And while she was at the Cayley house, she heard voices in her head, was angry a lot, used drugs, and was being manipulative. Nicole said that Sabrina told her that she wanted to start modeling classes at Barbizon, and Nicole was concerned about where the money would come from for that kind of thing. Sabrina told her that Kevin was paying for it. After Lisa's murder, Sabrina was pretty upbeat and said that she would still like to own her own cosmetology studio one day. Nicole said Sabrina also told her that Kevin had nothing to do with the murder, even though she never asked her if he did. On cross-examination, defense attorney Connick brought up more information about Sabrina's psychological issues. She was taking 9 different medications prescribed by a psychiatrist, and she was hearing voices at one point, telling her to hurt other people. She had abandonment issues and mood swings while at the Cayley house. And after her 18th birthday, she had decided to discontinue psychological treatment. A corrections officer at the Lake County Jail, named Jay Leonard, took the stand and said that on the morning after the murder, on November 17, 2012, Kevin came to the jail and asked to visit Sabrina. He told Kevin that he didn't have any more available visiting time that day, and Kevin seemed anxious and said that he needed to see her. After waiting for a few minutes in the lobby, Kevin again came to the visitor's window and said that he really needed to see her. He put his hands down on the table and said, "You don't understand. I need to see her because I'm her foster father." He still wasn't allowed in, and so he arranged to have his name added to Sabrina's visitor list. A general district manager for Chase Bank got on the stand next and testified that in July 2012, a high school checking account was opened in the names of Sabrina Zunick and Kevin Knoefel. And in Kevin's account, following Lisa's murder, he received deposits that included at least 2 six-figure checks. Lisa's name had also been removed from the account, and Kevin's mom was added. We'll get into more testimony from the trial right after this quick break. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible has the best audiobook performances, an unmatched selection, and the most exclusive content. One of my favorite Audible books is Don't Look Behind You and Other True Cases, Anne Rule's Crime Files, number 15. If you're listening to this podcast, then you probably know that Anne Rule is one of the most iconic true crime writers, and in this book, she shares some fateful encounters with the hidden predators among us, and it's nothing short of fascinating. If you were listening to Don't Look Behind You and Other True Cases on Audible, you'd experience things like the hair raising on the back of your neck or goosebumps. Because with an Audible mystery performance so powerful, you can feel the suspense anywhere. Start a 30-day trial and your first Audible book is free. Learn more at audible.com/courtjunkie. That's audible.com/COURTJUNKIE. And now, back to the show. The next person to take the stand was one of Kevin's close friends, David Strunk. David worked as a paramedic and said that he and Kevin had been good friends for about 16 years. They used to both be firefighter paramedics together, and both were groomsmen in each other's weddings. Kevin is the godfather of David's daughter, and David is the executor of the Knoefels' wills. In October 2012, both of their families went on a camping trip to Rocky Fork Ranch Resort in Kimballton, Ohio. During the trip, Kevin told him that he and Lisa had gotten into a fight because she believed that he was having an affair with Sabrina. Kevin said he was considering going to see a divorce attorney. Also during the trip, Kevin told him that Sabrina had picked out underwear for him that she thought would be comfortable, and he showed David modeling pictures of Sabrina. Hours after Lisa's murder, on the morning of November 16, 2012, David went over to Kevin's mother's house. Kevin was upset and crying and told him that he had already made arrangements with a funeral home, which David said surprised him. He asked David to get some information about a life insurance policy on Lisa, and also asked him to shut down Lisa's Facebook and email accounts so that he wouldn't have to deal with people leaving messages. Later that day, David accompanied Kevin to the funeral home, where arrangements were made to bury Lisa. Kevin wanted it to be right away, but it was ultimately scheduled for that following Tuesday, November 20th. David said Kevin told him that he wanted to visit Sabrina in jail to make sure that she was okay and to let her know that he was still there for her and that he hadn't given up on her. Kevin said he had already contacted the Willoughby Hills Police Department to get the visitor information. David said he couldn't believe that Kevin wanted to go see the person who had just killed his wife. But the next day, David and Kevin went to the Lake County Jail. On the way there, David said he tried to talk Kevin out of it, saying that it was weird that Kevin would want to go, but they went anyway. When he was told that he couldn't visit her because other people had already visited her, Kevin became upset and wanted to know who had visited her before him. David said Kevin then wrote a note for Sabrina, but was told that the note could not be delivered. David and Kevin left the jail and went to an AT&T store to get a new battery for Kevin's phone and to deactivate both Lisa's and Sabrina's phones. David said Kevin called Sabrina's relatives and asked them to let her know that he was not ready to give up on her and that he would be there for her. David said that Kevin seemed like his normal self. Later that afternoon, Kevin arranged to visit his house, to pick up some clothes, and to see the room where Lisa was murdered. Kevin told David that he wanted to see the room because it would give him closure and help him to move on. After they viewed the room, Kevin said that he wanted to have the house cleaned and wanted to move Lisa's stuff out and donate her clothes to Goodwill. He told David that he didn't want to do anything with Sabrina's stuff yet. A cleaning crew ended up cleaning the home on that Saturday, and Lisa's stuff was removed on Sunday. David testified that Kevin wanted Lisa's rings, and so he went to the funeral home to get them for him. On that following Monday, November 19th, David and Kevin rode together to Denny's. They were meeting up with friends and family there. David asked Kevin if he had any sort of inappropriate relationship with Sabrina, and Kevin changed the subject. While at the funeral, David said Kevin was in a hurry to leave. About a month later, in December 2012, David said he was contacted by the police and asked to make a statement. He and Kevin then became estranged. On cross-examination, David said guns were removed from Kevin's home and vehicle after Lisa's death because his family was concerned that he was despondent. The state then called Joe Becca to the stand. He worked as a field specialist for Rainbow International, which does heavy-duty cleanups at crime scenes. Joe said he met with Kevin on the morning of November 17th, the day after Lisa's murder, and talked about cleaning up the bedroom at Kevin's home. He testified that Kevin told him that he had a $250,000 life insurance policy and that the cost didn't matter, to just clean the home. Joe described Kevin as matter of fact and said that he had asked them to look for a finger and a ring that might be in the bedroom. He said he was unable to locate the finger or the ring. Another employee from Rainbow International testified. He said he told Kevin that he was sorry about his loss, but that Kevin was strikingly calm. He said that in his experience, he has never seen anyone in that situation that calm before. The state then played an interview Kevin did with police shortly after his arrest in August 2013. Kevin tells the detectives that it was Lisa's idea to foster kids and that he thought it was a great idea until he realized how stressful it was. He said they took in a couple of foster kids before Sabrina, but that some of them needed too much care, and so they were removed. Sabrina was 16 years old when they first decided to foster her. She was the oldest foster child they had ever had, and they thought that it would be easier. He said Sabrina was on medication for bipolar and other issues, but that she went off some of her meds after she became comfortable in their home. He told the detectives that Sabrina had good days and bad days, and that sometimes she would argue with Hannah, Lisa's daughter, but that the girls loved each other like sisters. Kevin said he was able to get through to Sabrina better than Lisa was. Next up to the stand came the state's star witness, Sabrina Zunick. She was dressed in her blue prison-issued jumpsuit, her hair in a ponytail, and was wearing glasses. Sabrina testified that in August 2013, she made a deal with the state of Ohio, where, in exchange for her testimony against Kevin, she would be allowed to plead guilty to aggravated murder, and the state would then recommend a sentence of life with eligibility for parole after 30 years. Sabrina testified that when she was placed into the Knoefels' home, she was taking 9 different medications for bipolar disorder, ADHD, and insomnia. Although she was subject to mood swings, she was able to control them while living with the Knoefels. She admitted that while she was in the Cayley home, she did hear voices as a side effect of one of the medications she was taking at the time, but that they only lasted for about a month. Sabrina said she was excited to join the Knoefels and said she was finally going to have a family surrounding her, something she had never had before. But in the second month, she was getting along with Kevin better than she was with Lisa, who she said was making her feel like an outsider and was less approachable. Sabrina was interested in possibly becoming a massotherapist, and because Kevin was a truck driver, he would complain about pain in his thighs. Kevin suggested that she start massaging his thighs for practice, and so she did. She said over a period of a couple months, she began then massaging his genitalia. This occurred in various rooms of their home. In early 2012, Sabrina testified about a camping trip the family went on to North Carolina. During that trip, she and Kevin started becoming more sexual with each other. Sabrina said she started to have feelings for Kevin as more than just a foster father. She identified Kevin in her contacts as Kevin Love and bought him underwear. Sabrina said that throughout 2012, there was increased tension between her and Lisa's daughter, Hannah. Sabrina said she and Lisa started to argue regularly too, and on one occasion, Lisa restrained her, and Sabrina made a statement to the police. Sabrina told the court that she had a strong desire to be a mother figure to 3-year-old Jesse. During the summer of 2012, Sabrina opened up a bank account with Kevin as a co-signer. She would deposit money she made from her summer job, along with Social Security payments she received after her biological father died. About 4 months prior to Lisa's murder, Sabrina and Kevin started having sex with each other. In the fall of 2012, Sabrina started attending South High School, the school she had always wanted to go to, and Kevin would drive her there in the mornings. The drive was about 10 minutes long, and they would engage in sexual acts while on the way. Sabrina recalled that in September 2012, she was hospitalized for appendicitis. Kevin was with her at the hospital, and he pulled the sheet to their room closed so they could engage in more sexual activities. It was during this time that Kevin and Lisa were arguing more, and Lisa said that she wanted Sabrina to leave the house. Sabrina said she got a job managing a band at one point, but that Kevin made her quit and told her that if she talked to other guys, she would be in trouble. Sometime in September 2012, Kevin told Sabrina that there were life insurance policies on Lisa that were worth about $750,000, and that Lisa would be worth more dead than alive. Kevin told her that if Lisa was gone, he and Sabrina could be together and raise a family. She could be the mother to Jesse. Sabrina said it was the life that she had always dreamed of. Sabrina told the court that one time she, Kevin, and her friend Autumn were in Kevin's car on their way to a buffet, and they discussed a hitman plot where one of Autumn's friends would kill Lisa. When Sabrina turned 18, she decided to continue living with the Knoefels, but she was afraid that Lisa was going to throw her out. Sometime after her birthday, Kevin told Sabrina that he didn't love Lisa anymore, but he didn't want to get a divorce because he would have to share custody of 3-year-old Jesse. In early November, Sabrina said that she and Kevin discussed a plot to kill Lisa using a pistol. Sabrina was supposed to use a pistol that couldn't be traced back to Kevin, and she was to wrap a pillow around it to muffle the sound. She would then hide the gun in the basement where Kevin could dispose of it. Kevin was supposed to take her to a shooting range to practice, but that never happened because Sabrina said that Lisa always wanted to go with him to the shooting range. On the morning before the night of the murder, Kevin was driving Sabrina to school when he stopped and told her about a fight that he had had with Lisa. He was crying and banged his head on the steering wheel. He said he couldn't stand it anymore, and he was going to kill himself if she wasn't dead soon. Sabrina told the jury that she was in love with him, and so she told him that she would kill her. Sabrina said that she and Kevin had talked before about how to kill Lisa with a knife. Kevin had told her that if Lisa was laying on her side, to drive the knife between her shoulder blades. If she was laying on her back, stab her in the throat. He instructed her to twist the knife after stabbing it into her body and to attack her at night after she's sleeping. She was to wear tight clothing that covered her whole body and to leave her clothes in a bag outside the garage. She was instructed to make it look like a burglary by emptying out clothing drawers and jewelry boxes. If she was caught, she would pretend that she was insane or claim self-defense. On her first attempt, Sabrina had texted Kevin and told him that she couldn't go through with the stabbing. He got angry, she said. In the early morning hours of November 16, 2012, Sabrina said she went into Lisa's room to execute their plan. She had drank energy drinks so that she would be able to stay up, and she had made sure to do her homework because she wasn't planning on getting caught. The family had 2 dogs, one of whom usually slept with Lisa, so she made sure to let them out beforehand. The bedroom was dark, and so she used her phone as a light. Lisa woke up and said, "Go back to bed, Hannah," thinking that she was Hannah. She raised the knife and went down. She said she had only been planning on stabbing Lisa once, but that Lisa fought back. Their struggle woke up Hannah, who pleaded with Sabrina to stop and called 911. Sabrina said she kept stabbing Lisa until she was sure that she was dead. Sabrina started crying on the stand and said when she heard police outside the bedroom, she cut herself to make it look like self-defense. She also told police that she blacked out and couldn't remember anything, which is what Kevin had told her to do. After she was arrested, Sabrina said she felt like Kevin had abandoned her. She was resentful because he didn't do anything to help her or support her. So in May 2013, Sabrina told the police about Kevin's involvement. She said she did that in order to serve justice, because I'm not the only one who did this, she said. Sabrina's maternal aunt testified that she was concerned about Sabrina's relationship with Kevin. She had found it odd that they had opened a joint banking account together, and that Sabrina knew about the life insurance policies on Lisa prior to her murder. After the murder, she said Kevin asked her to let Sabrina know that he loved her and that he wasn't giving up on her. She said she asked him directly about his relationship with Sabrina, but that he changed the subject. Willie Smith, a social worker at Sabrina's high school, testified that Kevin once came to the school to help resolve a dispute between Sabrina and some other students. He said that Sabrina sat on Kevin's lap between his legs. On another occasion, he said Sabrina was upset because Lisa was going to kick her out of the house. And in late October or early November, Sabrina told him that Kevin was going to divorce Lisa, but that Lisa didn't know it yet. The next witness was Melissa Javak, a probation officer at Lake County Juvenile Court. She said in July 2012, Kevin called her and was extremely upset that Sabrina was dating someone who was 19 years old. Melissa said she didn't understand why it was a big deal, since Sabrina was about to be 18, but that she met with Sabrina anyway and told her that she had to follow Kevin and Lisa's rules. Autumn Pavlik, one of Sabrina's friends from high school, took the stand. She told the court about how she, Sabrina, and Kevin went to a buffet in October 2012. She said Sabrina told her that Kevin and Lisa were fighting over the way that he would talk to Sabrina and that they were going to get a divorce. She said Sabrina asked if she was able to hire a hitman for them. She said she and Sabrina discussed doing a drug run in order to get the hitman. Autumn said she told Sabrina that she needed a ride to do the run, and shortly thereafter, Kevin called her and asked if she needed a ride to do the run. After Lisa's murder, Autumn cooperated with the police and recorded a telephone call she had with Kevin on June 4th, 2013. That recording was played in court.
She's telling people, well, that I knew about it. And
well, you know what? She mentioned stuff to everybody, but everybody told her the same thing, about, hey, don't fuck your life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People say stuff all the time that they don't mean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the only thing that I'm worried about is that whole hitman thing. I mean, I know she went off and did it by herself, but the whole hitman thing, I don't want to be sucked into it if she decides to open her mouth about it.
I honestly don't know. Like I said, she talked a big game about a lot of things.
And like I said, the only thing that I'm worried about is that conversation between you and I, and she was in the room. Is whenever you'd ask me, if I need help with the drug deal. If I needed you to help me with the drug deal. That's the only part of it that I'm actually 100% worried about.
I honestly don't totally remember all that. Obviously, I'm glad none of that ever happened.
Right.
In addition to the recorded phone call, Autumn agreed to wear a wire and go to Kevin's house. The recording of that visit was also played in court. Autumn makes small talk with Kevin and then says that she's still worried about the hitman thing. Kevin tells her that Sabrina said a lot of things and that he doesn't know what to tell her. Autumn says, "You wanted the hitman to take care of Lisa or whatever because she was worth more dead than alive to you. And so I was curious, what do I tell them?" Kevin said he can't tell her what to say and that her best bet is to just leave it alone unless the cops contact her. The next witness was Detective Parmiter, who testified that he first met Sabrina in the county jail at about 5:30 a.m., just a few hours after she was arrested. He said she told him that she went downstairs to the bathroom, went to the medicine cabinet, took some ibuprofen, and after that had no recollection of what had occurred until she was in the ambulance. She stuck with that story until May 2013, when she decided to start cooperating with the state. Detective Parmiter also testified about the communications between Kevin, Lisa, and Sabrina prior to the murder. Between November 1st and November 16th, 2012, there were 1,491 communications between Kevin and Sabrina, 78 of which occurred between 7:12 p.m. on November 15th and 12:46 a.m. on November 16th, immediately before the murder. And there were significantly less communications between Kevin and his wife during that same time frame. There were only 201 communications between Kevin and Lisa between November 1st and November 16th, and none at all between 7:12 p.m. on November 15th and 12:46 a.m. on November 16th. Detective Parmiter said that they were not able to extract any of the content from the messages or phone calls. These communications did not include any that involved the landline at the home, so he conceded that Kevin and Lisa may have communicated more using the landline. Parmiter told the court that Sabrina had first brought the number of life insurance policies on Lisa to their attention when they spoke with her about cooperating with them in May 2013. But he didn't learn the extent of the life insurance money until October 2013, when he received the documents from various life insurance agencies. He said Kevin had used the money to purchase 2 cars, a truck, and a camper. He had also bought his house, which he had been renting prior to Lisa's murder. Detective Parmiter said that when he executed a search warrant on the residence in August 2013, the home had been remodeled. 2 days after Autumn Pavlik's recorded phone call with Kevin, Parmiter said he called Kevin and asked him if he was familiar with certain friends of Sabrina's. When he mentioned Autumn's name, Kevin said that her name didn't ring a bell, but that he thought Sabrina may have had a friend named Autumn from school who had since disappeared. On cross-examination, Parmiter said that Autumn thought her recorded conversations went horribly because she didn't get anything out of him. He also acknowledged that they found nothing illegal or incriminating during their search of Kevin's home. 2 additional witnesses testified that amphetamines were found in Sabrina's toxicology tests, but that the amount was a normal prescribed amount. The state then rested. The defense called Kevin's sister Chris to the stand. She said she was at their mother's house hours after the murder, and that Kevin was crying and was emotionally distraught and couldn't even walk on his own. He was so upset. She said the family made the funeral arrangements. She said she had no concerns about Kevin and Lisa's marriage. She told the court that she and her husband currently have custody of Jesse and that she's in counseling. She said Jesse would become upset at nighttime and hear noises, but that she's doing better now. One of Sabrina's friends from school took the stand and testified that she rode the bus with Sabrina and that she recalled Sabrina telling her that she hated her mom and was going to kill her. She said she didn't take it seriously at the time. The defense also called one of Lisa's friends, who testified that Lisa had concerns about Sabrina. She said Lisa told her that Sabrina would fight with Hannah and would try to play the role of mother to Jesse. Lisa was also frustrated about Sabrina and Kevin's relationship. And with that, the defense rested their case. In her closing arguments, prosecutor Karen Cowell noted that it would have been easy for police to close the case after finding Sabrina covered in blood and holding a knife, but that there were still unanswered questions. She said that the defendant walked through the crime scene the day after the murder to get Lisa's phone. He walked through her blood, she said. She also brought up how Kevin got rid of Lisa's belongings right away, saying that nothing was saved for her daughters, not her clothes, her jewelry, or her money. It's shocking how quickly the defendant tried to erase her, she said. She said what drove Sabrina to commit the murder was Kevin, who had the sole purpose of ending Lisa's life. She went through the charges, including the sexual battery charges. She said that in Ohio, due to Kevin's status as a foster parent, it doesn't matter if the sex was consensual. It's still a crime. During the recorded conversations with Autumn, she said that although Kevin doesn't admit anything, he doesn't deny what she's saying either. Cowell also brought up Kevin's bizarre behavior afterwards, saying that just a few hours after Kevin left the police station after Lisa's murder, he started making phone calls, inquiring about benefits. She said, "What's shocking in this case is the speed at which this defendant collects this money and the speed at which he spends it." She brought up the phone records and said that from October 6, 2012 through October 23, 2012, Kevin's phone contacted Autumn 9 times, yet he told detectives that he didn't know who she was. And when Sabrina spoke with police, she told them that Lisa's life insurance policies totaled more than $750,000. How would she know that? She asked the jury to find him guilty on each and every count. In his closing arguments, Kevin's attorney, Michael Connick, pointed out that even though witnesses testified that Kevin had acted inappropriately after Lisa's murder, none of us can put ourselves in his position. He said that many people are worth more dead than alive, saying, "I know I am." He told the jury that the entire state's case revolves around them believing Sabrina. He held up the knife that Sabrina used to kill Lisa and said that a normal person doesn't stab someone nearly 200 times. He brought up Sabrina's mental issues and said that she started getting treatment when she was just 6 years old and then stopped once she turned 18. While she was being stabbed, Lisa begged Sabrina to stop, but she didn't. She kept going. There were even stab wounds that occurred after Lisa died, he said. Killing someone with a gun is impersonal. Doing what Sabrina did was rage. It was personal. She and she alone committed this crime. He said the state provided no evidence that Kevin helped kill Lisa or that he had sex with Sabrina, only Sabrina's testimony. He said, "We don't know what the text messages between Sabrina and Kevin said. We don't know the content of them." As for motive, Connick said that Sabrina was told by Lisa and Kevin that she was going to be kicked out of the house before her June graduation. He said, "The family she always wanted was coming to an end because Lisa hated her." Sabrina's words. He called Sabrina's relationship with Jesse bizarre and said that in Sabrina's twisted, demented head, she was creating a perfect family of her, Kevin, and Jesse, but that she never told Kevin that. Because of Sabrina's cooperation with the state, she'll have a good 30 years left once she gets out of prison, Connick noted. He went on to call Sabrina a psychopath, but the state objected, saying that she was never diagnosed with any psychosis. The judge sustained the objection. Connick said Sabrina manipulated the state of Ohio and didn't say anything about Kevin's alleged involvement until months later. Regarding the recordings of Kevin's conversations with Autumn, Connick pointed out that he never admitted to anything, and he said that the conversations were made under false pretenses and that police tried to trick him into confessing. Did Kevin love Sabrina more than his wife? Connick said he found that accusation offensive. He said there was nothing to tie Kevin to the murder, and he held up the knife again. How angry does a 120-pound girl need to be to do this? The jury deliberated for about 9.5 hours before reaching their verdict. Guilty of all 11 counts. At Kevin's sentencing, Lisa's ex-husband, the father of 13-year-old Hannah, got up and spoke directly to Kevin, and things got more than a little tense in the courtroom.
I'd like to say, Lisa, we miss you, and you, Kevin, what a piece of crap you are.
Yeah, Mr. Zanoa, I realize your emotions are great, but I would ask that you please restrain yourself and just address.
You are a weak individual. Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Zanoa, continue.
Someone who thought they could be a man in a man's world. Objection. You had the purpose of sentencing and hearing from the victim, Your Honor, is not to belittle the defendant.
I understand, Mr. Connick. We're going to let Mr. Zanoa, and Mr. Zanoa, I would just ask that you would just try to restrain yourself, please, and do so accordingly, okay?
I'd have the court note for the record that Mr. Zanella is a plaintiff of civil action against Mr. Knaefel. He's here merely to humiliate him.
Yeah, here. Oh, here. Mr. Connick, Mr. Connick, I would ask that you just allow Mr. Zanella to be heard. Your objection is noted. It is overruled. Mr. Zanella, I would ask you to please limit your comments to trying to not be argumentative or aggravating anybody in the courtroom, but indicating the effect this has had upon your daughter. That's why we're here. We're talking about the victims. We're not talking about, okay? If you would, please. Thank you.
Yes, and there are two girls that go through pain every day because of him. He thought he could do some heinous act that would take someone's life away from two little girls. And I hope, Judge, that you will give him the maximum sentence. Because my daughter's sister think about their mother every day. And I sure hope that you think about what you did in jail. And I hope you rot in jail the rest of your life.
Kevin told the judge that he didn't want to say anything before he was sentenced, so the judge handed down his sentence. Kevin was given life in prison with the possibility of parole in 30 years. He was also given an additional 12 years for the sexual battery charges against Sabrina. Sabrina Zunick was sentenced on August 28, 2014. Tears streamed down her face as the prosecutor read the evidence against her, evidence they would have presented at trial had the case gone that way. She then admitted to the murder.
As soon as you heard what the evidence was going to show, had there been a trial of the case, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are all of the facts and circumstances represented by the prosecutor accurate and true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Describing her on or about November the 16th of 2012.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did it happen in the city of Willoughby Hills in Lake County, Ohio?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at that time, did you purposely cause the death of Lisa Knoefel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you use prior calculation and design and planning in order to commit that murder?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell me in your own words how you committed the murder?
To stab Lisa Knoefel to death with the cooperation and planning with Kevin Knoefel.
Okay, and let's talk about the planning just briefly. Over what period of time had this planning gone on?
I'm not sure right now.
Roughly, more than a day, more than a month?
Yeah, more than a month.
Pardon me?
More than a month.
More than a month. And the plan, the purpose, the design was to murder, kill Lisa Knoefel. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were the person that wielded the knife, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you stabbed her, you cut her, as I understand it, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
On multiple occasions, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you caused her death, is that
Yes, Your
true
Honor.
today? Are you in fact guilty of the crime of aggravated murder based upon your acknowledgments and representations you report today, that charge being outlined in the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sabrina was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 30 years. Lisa Knoefel would have been 46 years old this past May. According to her obituary, she loved to spend time with her children and enjoyed camping. Lisa's legacy is one about helping people, particularly children, through her social work. In February 2017, a judge awarded $6.2 million to Lisa's daughters, Hannah and Jessie. $5 million in damages were against Sabrina, and $1.2 million were against Kevin. And that's all for today's episode. Thanks again to Becca for recommending the case. And don't forget to join our Facebook group at courtjunkie.com/Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at courtjunkiepod, follow me on Instagram at courtjunkie, and email me with any case suggestions at podcast@courtjunkie.com. And I have to mention that I do have a Patreon account where you can donate as little as $1 a month to this podcast. I put up early, ad-free episodes each week, and you can get there by going to courtjunkie.com/support. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.